Greetings, kindred spirits, and welcome to those of you that are new. This is a 13 Star Sign Astrology forecast and energy update for Venus retrograde. As you all know, I work the true lifetime sky when it comes to the planets and the points in signs, and of course the 13 house system. For more information on this, please refer to my About Me section here on YouTube. Also, I am so excited to let you all know that Astro app has now released my 13 house chart wheel that my colleague Eric and I have designed to match the true lifetime sky when it comes to the actual house system. And at present, it will only be my colleague Eric and I that will be using this chart wheel to draw up astrology charts that represent a true reflection of our skies when it comes to the house system. I'm also offering personal readings on this Venus retrograde. The details are below in the description box, but please do email me first for availability, because it only goes on till November and there's only so much I can do. Also, my soul sister Catherine Kinney has released her numerology forecast for October and has given some great insights into November too. So you can find a copy of her transmission on any of my Facebook pages or within my group. The details for those are below also. So today the point of discussion will be about Venus, who will be retrograding from the 5th of October until the 15th of November. Well, she goes into shadow on the 5th, but goes into full retrograde mode on the 7th. And in the true lifetime sky, Venus will start her retrograde mode in Libra and will retrograde into Virgo on the 18th of October. Venus is the goddess of love and money. As well as being the goddess of love and money, she also represents creativity, inspiration, beauty and charm. Her tone and vibration is very soothing and healing, but only as long as she is able to keep her desires and dreams in balance. Because when Venus changes faces, she can become very haunting or siren-like. So watch out for obsessive thoughts, especially about the past. It could also be that people from the past return into our lives, and if that is the case, then I strongly advise you to use your power of wisdom by taking things slowly and not rushing in, especially if it's regarding love. The planet Venus is the ruler of both Taurus and Libra. Well, Taurus is actually her adopted child. And in the true lifetime sky, she oversees the 3rd house of self-expression, what we have learned through our childhood experiences, our connection to our inner child, and how we reflect that onto the outer world and local environment. This house rules our relationships with our siblings and other family members, also our creative skills and how we perceive our immediate environments. The 8th house is in the true lifetime sky is actually ruled by Libra, which makes sense really, since it is the house of equal opportunity and balance with regards to our handling of money, sex, inheritances, ancestral ties and responsibilities, especially towards others. Originally in ancient times, the scales of Libra were the claws of Scorpio, which broke off when the great goddess Ophiuchus stamped him into the underworld. Libra is actually a fairly modern sign if you research it compared to the other constellations. Also, the number 8 is all about karmic cycles. This is the house where our karmic debt is weighed and calculated before we enter into the 9th house of Scorpio, the underworld of transformation and completion, and the number 9 does represent that. So Venus, the planet of love and money, goes into shadow on the 5th of October, and starts her full retrograde mode on the 7th of October in Libra. On the whole, Venus in retrograde represents a deep reflection of the past regarding love and money. For some, there may be difficulty in letting go of a past love or a situation, sometimes to the point of obsession. But this will depend on our own personal natal charts and where this goddess of love is retrograding. In Libra, this retrograde suggests that our ideals and expectations can be too high, especially when it comes to intimate relationships and investments. There is also a danger of going over the top in our efforts to try and please another or others due to a fear of being alone or feeling separated. Ultimately, Venus retrograding in Libra can cause a great indecisiveness about what we want, or very high expectations that can blur the lines of our reality. We must also watch out for manipulation or mind games that can be damaging to the soul, either our own or somebody else's. With this placement, there is a great danger of shattered dreams if we are not being true to our own hearts. There has been an ongoing T-square since the beginning of June, which I've spoken about several times, especially in my last few podcasts. This T-square involves our moon's nodes, Uranus and Mars, with Venus and the Black Moon Lilith popping in and out as it shapeshifts from one grand aspect to another. So throughout the Venus retrograde mode, this T-square will continue to shapeshift into a kite as well as a grand cross. The grand cross represents repetitive cycles and the kite represents blissful highs and more often than not crushing lows. Often this will be more to do with our emotions, again depending on our own personal charts. So we must stay grounded as we possibly can with these aspects. We must think twice or even thrice, meaning 3 times, before taking any risks. We must protect ourselves from the winds of extreme and erratic change, especially when Uranus is involved. The fact is that the same planets are continuously involved in all of the shape-shifting grand aspects, with other planets and points jumping in here and there, taking sides, or, trying to balance things out or roll things up. So the energies are very erratic and unstable. Uranus is in opposition to Venus and will be emitting a lot of electrical energy that will cause the Venus retrograde nature to become even more unstable and unreliable, where deep desires can become insatiable and uncontrollable. This aspect is chaotic and impulsive, where we can rush into things far too quickly without thinking first of the consequences. We will be experiencing extreme highs and lows with these aspects, especially where love and money are concerned. And because Venus is in retrograde, it could be that we become obsessed with the past, regarding past mistakes and impulsive choices that may have caused some sort of devastation. So what with the kite in formation and Uranus's opposition to Venus, we have a case of double trouble. Also, Neptune's trine can make it easy for us to delude ourselves into believing that we are invincible, or maybe it will be just a case of building castles in the sky. However, for those of us that are spiritually aware and on the path of enlightenment, this can be a very magical time. If ever we were close to the spiritual realms, then this is a time where we will be closer and more in tune than ever before. So healers, teachers and guidance counsellors will hold a very strong healing presence. Venus is also in square to Mars, so there can be a lot of hot-headedness taking place, and tension, especially when it comes to our intimate relationships, family relationships, or business partnerships. It could be that control issues surface, or forms of deception, even self-deception. Again, we must think before we act, slow down, take a breath, and contemplate the outcome first before taking any impulsive action. Saturn will be in sextile to Venus, and this aspect can actually help us to maintain stability. If we pour any erratic or passionate energy that we may be feeling into our craft, or anything that demands structure. If we use this aspect wisely, by maintaining our self-esteem and sense of self-worth, then we will definitely be on the right path. As a collective, we could see certain structures crumble, or a sudden change regarding money and wealth. Venus retrogrades into Virgo on the 18th of October in the true lifetime sky, and Virgo is the overseer of the 7th house of partnerships, unity, diplomacy, and equality. Once again, this suggests high expectations and unfulfilled desires when it comes to our relationships. We must beware of being over-judgmental or over-analytical and nitpicking. There is also a fear of love with this retrograde, or not being authentic and true to our hearts because of what others may think, or just a fear of rejection or a fear of failure. There is also a tendency for some of us to feel disconnected from our true emotions, never feeling good enough, and therefore projecting this feeling onto others. Venus retrograde in Virgo shows a need for clarity and a proper perspective with regards to the real world. When Venus retrogrades into Virgo, we must watch our health and not give away our power to others. The kite will still be in and out of formation, but we may have reached a point by this time where we have already experienced a crash landing and may now be tending to our wounds. During this time, we should work on self-nurture and moderation, but not in isolation. Nature walks, spa days, and getting out into the world would be a good way to refresh any stagnant energy. Watch out for issues with the solar plexus too, as Virgo's nervous energy will rub off on the best of us. It is important that we find a balance between our needs and the needs of others, between our expectations and what is realistic. But most of all, we must keep active and not take things for granted, especially when it comes to our time and creativity. We must not concentrate on our past failures, but look to the future and the bigger picture. Sound therapy will be a great healing tool to use at this time. So use your voice, sing, pray or chant. Or listen to theta or binaural beats. Just any kind of music or sound vibration that's uplifting, like light language, that will be really relevant as well at this time. So this does not have to be a journey of regret. It can be a journey of wondrous revelations if we take the time to truly nurture our mind, body and soul. We must look after our health first, love ourselves first, nurture ourselves first. So, I'm wishing you all peace and much love. Take care.